physical death does not interrupt our eternal life.
Lazarus! Come out!
Hi, welcome. It's Gooseboomer. Let's break down life path Jean-Leon-Jerome. Whether viewed in the Salon, the commercial gallery or the teaching studios of the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, Gérôme was the dominant French painter for much of the second half of the 19th century. He was also one of the most vociferous opponents of Impressionism, and by the end of the century had fallen into disfavor, in spite of his promotion of photography as a new form of art, something few other painters dared support. Gérôme's first painting to be shown at the Salon in 1847 was made during a time of increasing tension as the Julian monarchy neared collapse. The following year, France underwent revolutions, leading to Napoleon III's coup in December 1851 and the Second Empire. During this era, much of the city of Paris was razed to the ground and rebuilt according to the grand designs of Baron Haussmann, but the two ended in disaster when France, crushing defeat in the Franco-Prussian War of 1870, brought the Third Republic with its extensive social change and modernization. Gérôme died in his studio just a decade before the start of the First World War. Gérôme trained in the studio of Paul Delaroche, a great history painter, and for about 3 months with Charles Glaire, who later taught Whistler, Monet, Renoir, Sisley and Frederic Bazille. He joined a group of artists known as the Neo-Greeks, who favored light and witty scenes from the classics, and rejected the serious and sober approach of neoclassicism. His first bid for fame failed when his entries in the Prix de Rome in 1846 found no favor with its judges. He then painted his first significant work, named as The Cockfight, exhibited at the Salon the following year. This motif had started from a relief showing two adolescent boys facing off against one another. Gérôme felt it needed to improve his figurative painting, and after Delaroche's advice, decided to develop that image by replacing one of the boys with a girl. In both Greek and English, but not French, the word cock is used for both the male genitals and the male chicken, and the artful Gérôme must have found this combined visual and verbal pun witty and very Neo-Greek. Of course, Gérôme followed that with Anacreon, Bacchus and Amor in 1848. This harks back to the secret rise of Bacchus invoking Anacreon, one of the 9 canonical Greek poets, again very Neo-Greek. The poet takes center stage with his lyre at his shoulder. Dancing at his feet are an infant Bacchus at the left, waving his tyrus and looking to the left at a young woman playing the double pipes. To the right of Anacreon is Cupid with his wings, bow and quiver of arrows. Behind is a procession of a man and woman, and in the left distance they are dancing in a large circle. This painting was exhibited in the Salon that year, from where it was purchased by the state for 1,800 francs. I can't help but think it must have been a suitable piece of escapism from the political tensions of the February Revolution that took place that year, leading to the Second Republic. In 1848, the short-lived Second Republic ran a competition for a painting to form its figurette. Gérôme entered the Republic in that, but was unsuccessful. This is his improved entry for the second round, which isn't too far removed from the figure later used for the Statue of Liberty. Of all these early works, it's Gérôme's relatively small and simple painting of Michelangelo from 1849 that's the most enigmatic. This is perhaps the first sign of Gérôme's developing them of sight and rule of vision in establishing truth. In his blindness, Michelangelo can only feel what we can see and cannot see the figure of the young boy. This is particularly appropriate to Jerome, who later in his career became a successful sculptor himself, and whose later paintings referred to his sculptures and the act of creating them. One problem about Jerome experienced throughout these early works was integrating his figures into the overall color and look of the painting. Critics at the time commented on how his figures too often looked as if they had been pasted onto the canvas. This was less true of his Grecian interior, but becomes quite prominent in this painting. The idol, also known as Innocence or Daphne and Chloe from 1852, shown in the Salon of 1853. This is perhaps made worse by this painting's lack of depth and Daphne's sculptural appearance. With Napoleon III installed as the Emperor of France and Jerome's early paintings generally well received, it was time for the artist to tackle more substantial visual stories. He had a little money, and in the late 1853 set off for Austria, Central Europe and Moscow, but the Crimean War forced him to alter his plans and to limit his travel. Instead, he followed the river Danube and the coast of the Black Sea down to Istanbul, with the Exposition Universelle coming up in 1855. He needed paintings to impress a more international public. One delightful tonda he painted during 1853 is this allegory of night. Three-winged putti bring together some of the classical symbols of night and sleep. That on the right, for example, is scattering sleep-inducing popeyes, as in Virgil's words in Book 4 of his Aeneid. This is the sort of painting which could win him valuable commissions for wall paintings, perhaps just the sort of work becoming available with Napoleon III in power. Instead, and perhaps mindful of the recent war in Crimea, Jerome's more modest late entry of recreation in a Russian camp, remembering Moldova, was much better received. The artist claimed to have witnessed the scene when traveling down the river Danube. A group of Russian soldiers in low spirits is being uplifted by making music under the direction of their superior. Jerome has here captured an atmosphere that few of his paintings achieved. The marvelous light of the sky, the skein of geese on the wing, and the parade of windmills in the distance all draw together with the soldiers in their somber greatcoats. Overall, the Exposition Universelle was a success for Jerome, bringing him a second-class medal from its jury, and later that year admission to the Legion of Honor. Soon afterwards, he left France to travel extensively in North Africa and the Middle East, and didn't return till the spring of 1856. He then submitted 5 paintings from the Orient and 2 others to the Salon in 1857, considered in the next chapter. I hope you liked the video and Jean-Leon life story. Take care till we see you in another episode. Bye bye.